Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Swallowed Star based on novel. So let's start. Purple Doku Night. Luo Feng hated the fact that his plans still fell short. Now he was in trouble. He bowed slightly to express respect. Greetings Purple Doku Knight. Little punk, you sure are impressive. The knight looked at him and smiled elusive. You actually managed to swindle the other knight and make him waste his time. No matter, I still couldn't escape from you. Luo Feng shook his head, after which he turned curiously to him. I wonder if you could explain to me how you managed to find me even after I got free from the Green Knight. The Purple Knight looked curiously at him. She didn't expect the mastermind behind the stealing of the useless black metal board to actually chat with her so casually. It was almost like he was speaking to his elder. Wasn't he worried at all? Worried that he would be killed? Wasn't he worried that he would be made a soul slave? Purple Knight. Luo Feng was being stared down. Aren't you afraid I'd kill you, that I'll enslave you? The knight asked. At this point, I have no way to resist, what's the use? Luo Feng said. Interesting. The Purple Knight smiled. You little punk, you sent the Mosher to steal, and he stole nothing but the useless special metal board. Even though it's special, it's still useless. Da La Shaw had the Ice Hell Stone. It's interesting you didn't go for that instead. My underling was useless. His perspectives were too low, and he knew too little about the treasures of the universe. When he saw the black metal board, he thought it was special and thought it was a treasure, hence he took it. Luo Feng shook his head. But he knew too, the stone would be guarded well, he'd have no chance of stealing it. He is smart. If he went to steal the Ice Hell Stone, Da La Shaw would immediately suspect he was the fake Bay FA. The knight nodded. I chanced upon this metal board back then, however after studying it for a while, I didn't find any use for it. Hence I took it as a toy and passed it around. It finally ended up with Da La Shaw. Luo Feng was stunned. Toy. Indeed, the 9-volume manual within the metal board was limited by the universe laws. Only one person could use it. To others, it was completely useless. The two knights probably didn't recognize its importance and took it as a toy. I wonder if the knight can release me. I'm willing to pay for my actions. Luo Feng bowed. This wasn't something he thought on the fly, but rather from the information he gathered from the virtual universe company. The two knights liked to collect treasures. Some intruders that had been caught had used treasures to exchange for their lives before. Release you? The Purple Knight looked curiously at Luo Feng. Seems right, that black metal board is but a toy. I'll sell it to you, but the cost won't be small. Please speak. Luo Feng was gleeful within. There were pros and cons to the deal, but he didn't expect to get lucky enough to get to keep the metal board. Seeing your moves, your background must not be ordinary, the cost would naturally. Her expression suddenly changed. She glanced at him and said seriously, Punk, you actually forced Green Knight to burn part of his undying body, and you've completely enraged him. It looks like I cannot let you go. Luo Feng's expression changed. He naturally knew that the Mosher had completely enraged the Green Knight. Come with me. The Purple Knight didn't say any more. A formless space ripple spread throughout. There were 3 consecutive teleports, and each of them over 1,000 light years. When Luo Feng's sight finally regained stability, they had already reached an incredibly cold planet. He looked around. This vast ice planet had many ice hell stars in the sky. This is on an ice hell star, and it's an extremely huge one. It's where either of the knights live. Luo Feng thought. Where's my ship? He was originally in the ship, yet now it was gone. Looks like they took my living ship away. Rumble. A powerful energy appeared in the air and stared down at Luo Feng. It was the Green Knight. Ha ha, you sure got humiliated. Purple Knight laughed. Humph, this human. The Green Knight landed and stared at him. You sent the Mosher. Where's his main body? He actually sacrificed himself so easily. That must not be its main body. Green Knight, the Mosher's real body is my friend. Luo Feng said respectfully. I specially got his help this time, and I already owe him a favor. How can I rat him out? The Purple Knight spoke beside. Stupid. If you just say a special person, like if this friend was the disciple of the huge axe founder, or the disciple of the primal chaos city leader, anyway, any disciple of the super warriors of humanity. I wonder if he'd dare go take revenge. The Purple Knight mocked. Humph. The Green Knight stared at Luo Feng. Despicable. If I can just kill you like that, it would be too easy. Suddenly, in the distant space, ripples occurred. 10 silhouettes had come through universe travel over. Some were green while others were purple. They all landed down. And the numbers kept growing, more ripples kept appearing about. This is the one that acted as me. Bei Fa stared at Luo Feng. The one that did has already been killed, this is the mastermind. The Green Knight said. Leader is so powerful, killing that imposter and catching the mastermind. Bei Fa said excitedly. Beside him the group of sector lords all stared at Luo Feng like he was some rare goods. The group of Dokas were all close and affectionate. Their treatment of the knights weren't how sector lords usually treated knights, with fear and respect. However, it was almost like respect for their grandfather. Leader, you killed that intruder, he even held my hand. Wu Yue seemed unhappy. That was an imposter. Bei Fa shouted. I'm the real Bei Fa. I know. Wu Yue said. The 100 Dokas all cheered. Da La Shou stared at Luo Feng, his eyes filled with murderous intent. It was obvious he was still angry from being deceived earlier. Two leaders. I wonder how you will deal with this human. Da La Shou asked. Immediately the rest of the Dokas all turned to the two leaders. The Green Knight looked at the Purple Knight beside. The Purple Knight laughed. You seem enraged, you decide. HMPH. The Green Knight stared at him. We have to slowly destroy him, Da La Shou. You will personally bind him. Send him to the ice hell. Yes. Ice hell. This intruder sure is unlucky. The ice hell is about to be opened again. The other sector Lord Dokas all cheered. Luo Feng's expression was ugly. He thought within, ice hell. It's just as I thought. As long as they don't kill me, they definitely lock me in the ice hell. There's still a chance. I don't have to get the city leaders' help yet. Why was this region called Ice Hell Star? The ice-cold planets, why not simply call them ice stars, instead, Ice Hell Stars? Why the word hell? It was because of a legendary place within the area, that was Ice Hell. According to the information he had gathered, Ice Hell was a powerful special weapon similar to the sealed stars. It could lock up many warriors within. One of the two knights was in control of the weapon. Go. Da La Shou and the others stared at him. Luo Feng didn't resist. He allowed himself to be chained. What a joke. Da La Shou and the other two Undyings were the top 10 warriors of the Dokas. Their god bodies were all 10 million times stronger than a sector lord's. With body and spirit energy amplification and etc., these three were all as strong as true yang. These were special life forms. Their basic genetics were much higher than humans, plus these three were the most exceptional of the Undyings. Naturally they were extremely powerful. Before, the Mosha had escaped because soul attacks were useless against it, and with its teleportation, even True Yang wouldn't have been able to chase him. It had to be a knight with a full grasp of the space laws. Only such a warrior could have caught him. Within the dark universe, a ship was flying slowly. Within the control room stood Tian Chen. Within his world ring, Howl, the golden horned beast's huge body was lying there. Its internal world was producing another Mosha body. Black-clothed Luo Feng appeared beside Master Fu Shui, and the others bowed respectfully. Luckily I left a back door, he said softly. I knew the Great Being's mission wouldn't be that simple, hence my main core had to absolutely stay safe. After all, the moment I fall, even if the Primal Chaos City leader reversed time and space to revive me, I wouldn't be able to have the Star Tower and other treasures. I'd also lose the 9-volume manual. Of all the plans, there was one simple prerequisite, the main core had to be safe. Hence, when the Mosha body was in action, the Earth body had separated from the beast's body. The beast carried the main core, and Tien Chen and the others, flying in the dark universe. No matter how my plans fail, at least the main core will be safe. The Earth body has the Tao Pearl guarding the soul, hence he cannot be soul-controlled. If a powerful attack hits, to protect the many treasures on the Earth body, I'll get the help of teacher. Black Cloth Luo Feng thought, there's no need at the moment, the two of them haven't discovered my true treasures, they are simply locking me in the ice hell. The two knights obviously didn't know that this was but the Earth body of Luo Feng. Even though he had the Showu wings, the star map and Tower Pearl, which were all incredibly important, if he was forced into a corner, Luo Feng would call his teacher the Primal Chaos City leader to show himself, and he would be able to take his treasures away. The star map and Tower Pearl were almost considered true treasures. Even if the city leader discovered them, he wouldn't take them away. Hence he was still grounded within. The only thing was calling his teacher was his last choice. Until he was in a dire crisis, he would never do so. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Within the core of the Purple Knight's Ice Hell Star, there lay a majestic ice palace over 10,000 kilometers tall. Both knights walked side by side within the palace. Actually, I really want to slap this human to death. The Green Knight said. Are you looking for death? The sitting mountain guessed, just who is he? That's one of the strongest in the entire universe. If we offend him, even with the warriors we know, no one would be able to protect us. If you want to die, don't drag the clansmen with you. The Purple Knight scolded him. The Green Knight smiled, I'm just saying, come on, we are both knights. What's more, we are among the most powerful of knights in the universe, yet we have to put on a show before this human. This was an order from Mountain Sitting Guest, we definitely have to follow them. And he even gave us quite a bit of rewards. The Purple Knight nodded. Back then, he had ordered for us to casually put the black metal board within an ice hell star, forbidding us from putting it on our stars, awaiting an intruder to steal it. He even said, as long as a flesh or blood life form stole it, we cannot kill him, we have to lock him in ice hell. The Green Knight frowned. That Mosha was an energy life form. I killed it instantly, however the mastermind was actually a human. Why do you think he gave such an order? The Green Knight asked. Isn't it obvious, he spent so much effort probably to nurture a strong warrior. The Purple Knight's eyes gleamed, this human should have been picked by him. Nurturing a disciple. The Green Knight shook his head. What a vicious teacher, he knew very well the rules of our ice hell, yet he still wants to send this human in. Even if his disciple is powerful, he should know what kind of warriors are within our ice hell. Vicious. The Purple Knight said. It could be a tough training. If he can't get past this, and the human dies, it's akin to the Sitting Mountain Guest killing him. Anyway, it's none of our business. The Green Knight nodded. The two chatted as they walked. However, this human was indeed crafty, even I was fooled. How did you find the black metal board? The Green Knight asked curiously. When the Sitting Mountain Guest gave the order back then, he said if some intruder managed to get away with the black metal board, so be it. Only if he was captured by us would he be sent to ice hell. He. The Purple Knight laughed. Quickly, tell me how you did it. The Green Knight asked. The Purple Knight smiled. Didn't the Mosha teleport over and over with the board? Along the way, he disguised it as a rock in a world ring and placed it on a floating mountain range. That was when I took notice that another intruder took the rock and fled. I followed him and finally discovered the human. After observing him for a while, I confirmed that the mastermind was the human, only then did I show myself. No. The Green Knight shook his head. I was chasing the Mosha all the while, you didn't even chase. And the way he teleported, placing the ring on the mountain range would have only taken an instant. Even when I teleported over, I didn't realize it, how did you? And how could you have caught up in time? The Purple Knight smiled mysteriously. Quickly tell me. He asked curiously. Very simple. She said proudly, I left a small imprint on the black metal board. No matter where it goes, I can sense it. We all have our own markers. I can feel you constantly changing your location. However, the black metal board stopped moving after a while. Hence, I immediately teleported to where it was hidden. I observed the other intruder take it away and followed. You know what happened next? You? The Green Knight stared. You actually left an imprint. You left one on the board. Why not? She smiled. I've been very curious as to this entire plot set up by the Sitting Mountain guest. I wanted to see just who it was for, however I was worried that he would get away without us knowing. To prevent that, I did this. Ha ha, he never once said we couldn't do this. What's more, he wanted us to catch the thief and send him to ice hell anyway. The Green Knight shook his head. He felt sorry for Luo Feng. He had actually gotten away, but because of the Purple Knight's curiosity, he got caught. Poor fellow, let's hope he doesn't die inside. He shook his head. Anyway, we cannot intervene. Whether he lives or dies, that'll depend on his luck. If he dies, he would have died under the Sitting Mountain guest's training. It has nothing to do with us. The Purple Knight shook her head. The Sitting Mountain guest ventures the universe in solitude. He is eccentric, even the superpowers do not dare mess with him. It's indeed true, he's eccentric. The Green Knight shook his head. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Within the huge ice hell star, which was the Green Knight's home, it had a majestic pillar that was about 800 kilometers thick and over 10,000 kilometers tall. Who? 4 silhouettes rushed down. It was Da La Shou and the 3 powerful warriors that held Luo Feng captive. The space around them was completely locked down. It was obvious that one of them was maintaining the lockdown around them, preventing this crafty human from teleporting away. They didn't know that without the Mosha body's help, his Earth body still had no way to teleport. That's ice hell. Luo Feng gazed at the huge ice pillar. An unbelievable energy engulfed the area about, one that was no weaker than the sealed star. Right, that's ice hell. Da La Shou held onto him and said coldly. You seem relaxed, you are about to locked up, and you probably won't get out even after 1 trillion years from the never-ending fear and horrors within, finally dying within. Yet you aren't nervous at all. I'm already captured, what's the use? Luo Feng smiled. His main core was with the golden horned beast far from the Black Flower region. It was within a slave's god country. As long as he called for it, they could teleport via god country over and take him away. Luo Feng gazed at the distant ice hell. The legend of the ice hell was the most renowned one within this area. It was said that even though the knights would kill the captured intruders, if they captured some absolute warriors or some special undyings, they would lock them within. Through the long periods of time and trillions of eras, nobody knows how many warriors were locked within. Their strengths within would naturally rise too. Plus the 2 knights had forced the captured intruders to kill each other, training, killing, endless amounts of time within. With such pressure, it made the ice hell a madhouse. Unless I face a dire situation, I have no need to call my teacher. Also, on my way to becoming a true absolute warrior, I hope never to have to call him. Luo Feng had long had this thought. From his point of view, being forced to call his teacher was humiliating. If he had the strength, he would do it alone. Growing along the way, even standing on par with his teacher, even surpassing him. Along this path, he didn't wish to call him at all. This were his own standards. A true warrior would never give himself excuses. Da La Shou and the others grabbed onto Luo Feng and arrived before the ice hell. Human. The Green Knight said fiercely, even though you are quite strong, the weakest captured within are at least emperors. Without that amount of strength, the leaders wouldn't even bother locking them up within. And being locked for unknown lengths, killing madly within, let me give you some advice. If you fear all these, it's better to self-destruct. The darkness and madness within is not something you can take. I am definitely anticipating it. Luo Feng smiled. This is your tag. Da La Shou tossed it casually. A purple and green ice tag was thrown to him, and on it were demon race numbers. Luo Feng received it. This is my identity. Luo Feng was curious. Thinking within, this almost feels like the number given to Earth prisoners. Go on. Da La Shao pushed him strongly. Luo Feng was pushed straight to the edge, within 100 km of the ice hell. In an instant. Rumble, a terrifying swallowing force engulfed him, almost like an endless whirlpool. Luo Feng immediately opened his wings within trying to resist it. Don't resist, if you do, you'll know the consequences. Da La Shao and the others looked coldly at him. Seems right. Luo Feng shook his head. This was the territory of two knights, they could teleport here immediately. Then I'll go check this ice hell out. Luo Feng looked up at the source of the swallowing energy. A black cave had already split open from the ice hell, the many layers formed what seemed like a fan of leaves. Rumble. He was sucked right in. Rumble, layers and layers of fan-like leaves opened and closed, the huge ice pillar once again returned to its original form, and not a single trace of the slits was visible again. From then on, Luo Feng was locked in the ice hell. Enjoy yourself, human. Da La Shao looked coldly at the ice pillar. Let's go, Da La Shao. Let's go. They became beams of light, and swiftly rushed into the sky. It was a vast ice world. After being swallowed, Luo Feng felt a terrifying force act on his body. It was almost like a majestic mountain had pinned him down. With a flap of his wings, he withstood the force and floated in the air, gazing at the vast ice world. This is ice hell. He looked about. The space about seemed like it had trillions of unseen blades, causing the space to shake occasionally. This is indeed a true treasure. It frequently shakes the space, making it impossible to teleport via God Country. Luo Feng had expected this. Any true sealing treasure would definitely suppress God Country teleportation. The requirements to teleport via God Country were harsh, it had to be within a steady space. During battle with the ripples of energy all around, one couldn't teleport via God Country. And I cannot teleport here. Luo Feng sensed. The space ripples in here were completely cut off from those outside, even with the Mosha body. I can at most teleport within ice hell. I cannot teleport out. This is pretty similar to the forbidden space within the Star Tower. Star Tower had countless forbidden spaces, and the warriors could only teleport within each space, but not out or to another. Unable to teleport via God Country or normal teleportation, all the while feeling like the weight of a mountain was on him, this was what Luo Feng felt when he entered ice hell. The only thing he could be happy about was that he could connect to the virtual universe. Impressive. I've been in the Star Tower, Demon Mountain, Primal Universe, Blood River World, anyway, everywhere I've been to has allowed me to connect to the virtual universe. Luo Feng couldn't help but exclaim. This virtual universe truly was omnipotent, even within a true treasure, one could still connect. Master, the space around is too special, the large scanner cannot function properly. The mini scanner can still work properly. Barbata's subsidiary AI reported the problem to him. Luo Feng nodded. The mini scanner was much more advanced than the large one, it could still be used in ice hell. For the Green Knight to lock me in here for an indefinite amount of time, it shouldn't be that simple, right? Luo Feng landed on the snowy ground. He took several steps, each one over 1,000 kilometers long. I'll explore this area, and see why he actually locked me in here. Asterisk 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 asterisk. As he walked within, the footsteps he left behind finally drew the attention of another warrior within. Claw marks. What claws are these? A blurry black silhouette landed on the snow. None of the warriors in ice hell should have these. Is there a newcomer? He, my chance has come. This ice hell sure is vast. Luo Feng suddenly stopped, looking around. The binding is too strong, my spirit energy can only cover 10,000 kilometers in area. Hence, I can only check a small portion of it at a time. I've already walked 100,000 kilometers, yet I still can't see the end of the snow and mountains. Just like a marble-sized little sealed star, has its own forbidden space within, or a world within a world ring. This ice hell, as a true treasure of the Green Knight, had a space that far exceeded its outer appearance. He took a deep breath, the chill entering his chest as he stride out again. It was said that there are many warriors within. I don't believe I can't even meet one. He continued forward. He left many footprints in the snow, every one of them over 1,000 kilometers apart. A normal human had no way to even track him. However, to the strong, over 1,000 kilometers was a simple step. Master, ambush. The mini-scan swiftly sent out a warning. Rumble. Luo Feng flapped his wings, causing the space around to shake as he flew up. A black beam of light shot right past him and landed on the snow. Luo Feng looked down from high above. There sat a crossed-legged black life form. It had a body length of over 8 m long, but its tail was even longer than its body. It had long fangs and eyes that were burning with black flames. It stared at Luo Feng, and its body covered in black scales. Soul-swallowing beast. Luo Feng was stunned. The soul-swallowing beast was an incredibly rare creature of the universe. Just like the golden horned beast and Mosha, which were rare as well, this was comparable to the Mosha. Such a rare beast had its own natural abilities, and it had too. Human, you actually recognized me. A hoarse voice resounded from the beast. To actually meet a soul-swallowing beast here in Ice Hell, ha, we have some fate. Luo Feng smiled and descended. Landing on the snow, he smiled at the beast, which was filled with killing intent. Beast, I just entered Ice Hell. I wonder if you can explain to me the situation here in Ice Hell. Arrogant human. The beast howled and sprung forward. Fast as lightning. Within Ice Hell, which had the powerful pressure, it was already much slower than before, however its current speed was still shocking. Who? Luo Feng flapped his wings and easily dodged. I'm willing to chat with you, why fight it out? Luo Feng laughed easily. The beast, however, howled hoarsely and vanished. Teleportation. Luo Feng squinted. Behind him, the beast appeared once again and opened its huge mouth to bite him. However, Luo Feng detected it and flapped his wings, stopping the bite. Ka. The beast bit hard on the Showu wings, feeling the force of the G-grade metal. Soul Blade. Luo Feng turned to face the beast. His powerful willpower became a spirit energy blade, infusing it with the beast god presence. He slashed it straight at the beast's soul. A simple soul attack. Even though he wasn't exactly very proficient in soul attacks, his willpower and consciousness were indeed strong enough to control such moves with precision. Unleashing a powerful illusion may still be very difficult, but a simple soul attack wasn't that bad. Simply infusing the beast god presence in, even though his soul blade construction skills were considered crude, but his beast god presence had reached an incredibly high level. His move wasn't weaker than a pinnacle Emperor Soul Master's attack. Weng. The beast was stunned immediately by the attack. Luo Feng waved his left hand. 6 black balls shot out, hitting the stunned beast's body. Without any resistance, the first ball tore through its bones and muscles, the second one caused it to explode apart, while the others swelled within, dissipating the fragments that remained. The beast simply vanished. Vanished. Luo Feng's expression changed. He didn't regenerate or teleport. How did he just vanish? I didn't even use the Fei Mo poison. Teleporting required one to reform his body first. When a warrior was slashed into parts, the parts were unable to teleport on their own. To vanish after being reduced to fragments usually meant one thing: the main body of the beast was far away. That way, even if its god body was destroyed, the scattered undying energy had its imprint long ago. It would naturally return to its main body. Is this doppelganger? Luo Feng thought, this is just one of its doppelgangers. The soul-swallowing beast had 2 natural abilities. The first was the terrifying attacking move Soul Swallow, the second one was its terrifying fleeing ability, Doppelganger. The body formed from this ability, in terms of strength, was far from the main body. It was so weak it couldn't even use its first ability. However, it at least knew the laws, as long as the main body did. So with the doppelganger. After being ambushed once, Luo Feng continued forward. He didn't expect that the soul-swallowing beast would ambush him another 2 times. The second time it had used a soul attack, with Luo Feng's terrifying willpower and the beast god howl, he easily withstood it. He didn't even need the Tower Pearl's help. The third time, the beast used illusions, which was still ineffective. Luo Feng used the same methods to deal with him, using the stars from Star Map. He easily killed the beast. Master, that beast is using his doppelgangers to attack you over and over, he's obviously testing your strength. If you aren't too much of a threat, his real body would probably show itself. If you are too strong, he would carefully avoid you, he sure is crafty. Ji Hong said within the world ring. Master didn't even show his strength, or use the Fei Mo poison. Honed Heart said. Luo Feng brought 2 warriors within his world ring, the others all followed the golden horned beast's body. Honed Heart was a soul master. Ji Hong carried the ancient clock. With the 2 combined, in dire times, they could easily change the outcome of the battle. When Luo Feng was planning how to steal the black metal board back then, he had considered what would happen if he was caught. Hence he left 2 warriors to protect his earth body. His earth body after all had no way to burn undying energy. This was the biggest difference between him and the other warriors. Without burning undying energy, he could win against many. The moment they burnt their undying energy, he would be disadvantaged. I'll patiently wait for him, let's see if he shows himself. Luo Feng continued to walk in the snow. He believed that there were other warriors around. The Green Knight's words before and Da La Sha's warnings. They state that ice hell is terrifying. Just which part of it is terrifying? In the snow grounds over 100,000 kilometers away from Luo Feng, a black silhouette lay hidden. He, this human can't seem to teleport, but he is still very strong. Even though my doppelgangers only have a portion of my strength, he killed them so easily. He's at least Pinnacle Emperor, it's better to let the other punks deal with this guy first. The silhouette vanished. Luo Feng continued to walk unhurriedly, enjoying the scenery. That soul-swallowing beast is not coming. I only showed a little of my strength, and yet I scared him away. He sure is cautious. Luo Feng continued on. He had been walking in a straight line for close to 10 million kilometers, yet other than that beast, he hadn't discovered anyone else. His eyes gleamed. In the distant ice mountain peak, there stood a silhouette. The 2 of them stood 100,000 kilometers away from each other. But with their vision, as long as there wasn't anything obstructing, they could easily see each other. The silhouette turned to face him. He had a huge god body covered in fur, and his vertical eyes stared straight at Luo Feng. Ka-2 race. Luo Feng thought. The Ka-2 race were one of the subsidiary races under the demon race. They were renowned for their cold-heartedness and ferocity. When Luo Feng confirmed the Ka-2 warrior on the distant peak, he knew that a bloody fight was imminent. Hua! The warriors instantly became a beam of light, leaving a resplendent silhouette, as he rushed straight at Luo Feng. Luo Feng stood there and looked up at him rushing over, patiently waiting. The 2 of them got closer and closer. The Ka-2 warrior's eyes were filled with madness and killing intent. This made Luo Feng display the same, the warriors trapped in ice hell. Why are all of them so direct in attacking their enemies immediately? The Ka-2 warrior unleashed space lockdown, making it impossible for both parties to teleport. Luo Feng smiled within. This Ka-2 warrior probably didn't know how to teleport. In truth, he himself couldn't either. Hence, there was no need for space lockdown at all. Human, die. The warrior roared, either one of us will die today. Rumble. A terrifying force rushed from the Ka-2 warrior. Luo Feng, who had been calm all this while, was shocked, burning his undying body. He's mad. Even if he wanted to fight me to the death, he needn't have burnt his undying energy before even finding out my strength. Burning too much at once requires a long time to recover. Luo Feng flapped his wings and swiftly dodged the attack from the Ka-2 warrior. Ka-2 warrior, I haven't met you before. Why have you burnt your undying energy without even knowing my strength? Even if you want to kill me, if I was weak, wouldn't you have wasted your energy? Luo Feng communicated. A ferocious blood-colored blade slashed through the air. Luo Feng dodged it easily. Luo Feng used the Sha Wu wings to dodge over and over. This Katu warrior before him was about pinnacle emperor level. The moment he burnt his undying energy, Luo Feng had no way to match force with him. He could only dodge more and let him burn more of his energy. Even after burning my undying energy, my speed still cannot match yours. The warrior seemed to be lost in his madness. Human, if you are strong enough, fight me head-on. Even if I die, let me die from a head-on fight. Katu warrior, do you think I'm stupid? Luo Feng easily dodged over and over. The Katu warrior was incredibly powerful after burning his undying energy, but it was pointless. He couldn't even touch Luo Feng. If the warrior had heard of Blade River's name, he probably wouldn't have done something so stupid. But it was obvious the warriors locked in ice hell probably didn't even know of Blade River. Ha ha. The Katu warrior suddenly looked up and laughed loudly, his laughter rippling in all directions like a shockwave. He stood in mid-air, not chasing anymore, and laughed. Ha 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 ha, ha ha ha. He seemed mad. Even though he simply stood there and laughed, what shocked Luo Feng was that he continued burning his undying body, not stopping at all. Katu warrior. Luo Feng spoke. Ha ha ha, this is fate, it's fate. The Katu warrior looked up and laughed. I've grown all this while. When I was young I was even a genius, until I became an emperor and got powerful enough. However, I was trapped in ice hell after. The moment that happened, I would never escape, spending the rest of eternity in here. My race has probably long forgotten about me, my loved ones are probably all dead, I guess only a few of my friends are alive. I cannot leave. Wasting so much time, and I still have to battle with all you punks, killing to survive. Ha ha, never relenting over 1 trillion eras. I cannot take it anymore. Old blind, soul swallowing, you can all struggle, I'll be taking my leave first. His voice resounded in all directions. The Katu warrior looked at the shocked Luo Feng. Human, I wanted to die in a mad battle. I didn't expect to not even get that chance. Are you just giving up? Luo Feng asked. What else can I do? Human, being in ice hell is the greatest torture. He shook his head. Unless you have an absolute being in your race that favors you and will come take you away personally. Otherwise, there's no hope of ever getting out. My race has probably long forgotten about me. I'm leaving. Release. He exploded his body and a huge sun was generated from the blast, as endless energies shot in all directions. He didn't even care about the human beside him, he was already lost in despair. As to whether the human survived the blast, he couldn't even be bothered. If he died, so be it, that would be a release for the human too. Deep in the ice mountains, the soul-swallowing beast sat cross-legged, hearing the voice that spread throughout ice hell, its fierce eyes shook with some hurt within. Old friend, are you just giving up? If you wanted to die, why don't you die by my hands, that way I'd have a chance of leaving. The beast's hoarse voice resounded within the cave. Over 1,000 kilometers deep in a snow cave, a wriggling silhouette sat cross-legged. It had a human-like head, his eyes were closed as he sighed, his free. In a majestic palace deep in the oceans of ice hell. Another idiot has given up, good, good, good. The more the merrier, the more dead the better. That way my chances of leaving are higher. Go and die, you idiots. The many warriors locked for endless ages within ice hell all either felt hurt, laughed, or were indifferent. They had different reactions, but no one was shocked, because this type of suicidal incidents had happened many times before. The energies flowed madly about in mid-air. Luo Feng gradually opened his wings that wrapped around him. Floating in mid-air, he looked at the world ring, weapons, armor etc. that the Katu warrior left behind. Suicide. Anyone able to reach emperor level should all have strong willpower. Which one doesn't have their own beliefs? To actually be forced to suicide. Luo Feng muttered. The words from the warrior before rang in his ears. He slowly began to understand why he did so. The Katu race is a weak race. Even a strong demon warrior here cannot contact their race. Much less a subsidiary race like the Katu. Luo Feng said softly. They don't have the virtual universe and have no way to make contact, they can only stay in here and suffer. Killing is the main thing in Ice Hell. After endless time, solitude, trapped and being unable to make contact. The endless killing and battles. 1 year, 100, 10,000 years, he finally crumbled within. Luo Feng thought. This was the battle against solitude and time. Against time, if one was forever in solitude, even an emperor would crumble. What's going on? Luo Feng was indeed shocked by the suicide of the Katu warrior. He no longer had the patience to walk about slowly, immediately becoming a beam of light and flying in the skies. He shot across the skies. He constantly recalled and pondered what happened before. The more he thought about it, the more shocked he was. I was able to even withstand the life or death inheritance back then, but that was only over 6,000 years, yet every second and year became increasingly difficult. However, I stuck to my beliefs. If I was in the same situation as that Katu before, knowing my loved ones were long gone, would I be able to persevere for trillions of eras in Ice Hell? He asked himself. Could he do it? Yes. Definitely. He nodded. He would definitely leave and find a way to revive his loved ones. If he couldn't, he would take revenge on the Green Knight, as it was the knight that took away his precious time with his family. Strength, the Green Knight is strong, who is able to lock so many powerful warriors in here for his game. Luo Feng thought. If any of them managed to become a knight in here, the Green Knight would probably immediately eliminate him. Luo Feng flew in the skies. Below him was an endless snowy plain, with ice mountains all around. He finally saw a transparent huge ice tablet. The tablet was majestic, and on it carved were demon language words. No wonder. He read the words and muttered. What a vicious Green Knight. This video will end here.